Good morning, everybody. This is Anshi, and for our yoga practice this morning, I was thinking of just a general all-around practice, but we are going to get started on the floor, and we're going to warm up the trunk, the spine, with some gentle core work, some mobilization, and some long rolls. So for the practice today, you want a floor space on the side of your mat. You want it to be comfortable, and you'll also need a couple of blocks. And I'm gonna adjust so that we can see my floor space. And I'll just change. So I'm gonna turn on this microphone too, because I'm afraid I'll be too far away from the mic. So let's change that. All right. So once you are in constructive rest, we tune in first and feel our spines, and give yourself 3 focused breaths, feeling the base of your spine in your sacrum. See if you can get a sense of your inhalation being able to move down and meet the base of your spine. And then when you exhale, you can sigh it out long and steady. And then after those 3 breaths into the sacrum, just briefly sense and scan through the whole body, from feet all the way up through the shoulders, the neck, the head. Notice the quality of your whole body this morning. And then also watch for the way that your natural breath is coming in and moving out, and just get a sense for the depth and location of your breath right now. And also observing the state of your mind, that part where thought arises. Notice that thought space right now. Notice that emotional space as well. So in a way, we're locating ourselves experientially. Where are we at right now in this experience? And then connecting with what you value. What motivated you to come onto your mat this morning? What quality would you like to cultivate through your practice, to remind yourself of? And you can stay in the inquiry, or you can stay with the answer of that inquiry, repeating that 3 times internally. And next time when you're ready, go ahead and hug your knees in, and just notice how when you hug your thighs in, the stretch through your low back, through your glutes there. And breathe statically with that stretch through your back body. And then we'll will move dynamically. You can move the thighs away and turn your head over to one side. And then you can turn your head to center and hug those knees in. Just a very gentle way to warm up the low back. You can choose to inhale as you turn your head and lengthen your legs away. You can choose to exhale as you return to center. Good. Next time when you come back to center, we'll slowly reach the legs up so you get a little stretch through the back of the legs. You can make your ankle circles here. So I'm just talking to the joints in the feet and the lower legs. Okay. And then bending and extending the knees a few times. You can choose to hold on to your legs as you do this knee bend. You can also lift your arms up as you lift your legs up. And then when you bend your knees, you can float your hands down, either to the ground or to the knees. So a few times like this, so a bigger stretch through your back body. And then next time when you have your knees bent, go ahead and lower both feet all the way down. We'll go the other way now with the hips. And you can have your ankles roughly underneath your knees and your feet parallel. Now push down through your feet and lift your hips up, and you can lift your arms up as well. And then we'll take a breath here, and you could press down through the inner edge of your feet more. And next time when you exhale, try to lower your spine down one bone at a time. So you get a nice stretch through your back again, and then you can float your arms down. Okay, so we'll do that a few times more to continue warming up the spine. You can lift up as you inhale. You can exhale here, take a breath here basically. Take another inhale here. And then second exhale, you can lower your spine down one bone at a time. Another variation that I like as I lift up, I'll push my elbows down, and that can lift the upper back a little bit more. So you can add in that little push from the elbows if you like. Nice. Next time when you come back down, take a pause here. And then we'll open the arms out wide, and we'll step the feet out wide to the side edges of the mat. And you can start to just windshield wipe the knees side to side. And you can let your head turn. You can switch the organization of your head with your knees, starting to loosen up through a little bit of a twist. And then next time when you come back up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, lift your left arm and turn all the way over to your right side, but try to keep that left hip down. If it has to move a little bit, let it move, but we're trying to twist from that middle back. And then take an inhale here and try to stretch the space between your two scapula. At the same time, pull your scapula down away from your ears. So it feels like your neck just lengthened out. And then when you come back, trace a semicircle above your head with your left fingertips. Take an inhale here. Feel those side ribs moving, and then turn as you exhale. And then take an inhale here. Try to breathe between your scapula. As you exhale, depress the scapula to lengthen your neck. And then trace a semicircle above your head. Come on back. Okay, let's do that a few more times to loosen up the middle back and the upper body. So you twist, you hang out, you try to breathe into your middle back and create space between your scapula, and then you depress the scapula down, and then you find a rotation through your shoulder. Okay, feel free to modify the shoulder circle if you feel a lot of restriction. You can always bend the elbow, so don't force into that end range if there is restriction or pain. Okay, one more time, depressing the scapula and rotating. Good. And then when you come back, just take a moment and just feel your back body again. And then we're going to move the feet closer back in. If your back is sensitive, you're going to do this one with your left foot down first. So we can try first with just the right leg in tabletop position. And we're going to reach the arms up, both arms. Okay, and we want a 90-degree angle here between the thigh, the knee, and this tabletop. And you can inhale and reach the left arm back without popping your ribs up. And then you can exhale and lengthen the right leg without pressing down on the left. So the left one, you try to keep it passive. Inhale here, and then exhale, come back to center with both arm and leg. So we'll just do right leg, left arm. So inhale, left arm reaches without popping the ribs up. Exhale, leg reaches, and then come on, hold for that inhale, and then come back. Okay, if this was really easy for you, you're feeling pretty stable, you can choose to progress and lift the left leg up as well. But just do it on the right leg, left arm axis for now, okay? And really what we're after is this sense of trunk stability. So can you move with this awareness of your tubular core engaging to keep you stable? So turning on those deep abdominal layers. Okay, one more time, dead bug here on this first axis between left shoulder and right hip. Holding and then coming back. Okay, and then maybe starting out with right foot down when we switch sides. Reach right arm, left leg, hold, exhale, return with stability. Okay, so maybe keep the leg down first for a few rounds to check out your back, see how it feels. Make sure if you have that left foot down, you're not stamping down into that foot so that you work your abdominals more. Good, and then if this feels really easy as well, look at yourself in the mirror or in the screen and make sure you have the 90-degree angle with your thigh and your torso. Sometimes we tend to pull the thigh closer in, and that eliminates some of the tensioning and the work in the core. Yeah, so keep that 90-degree angle as best as you can. Like we want to kind of do this, but if you put it more in line, it's going to be a little bit harder. Okay. And then when you're done with the second side, go ahead and lower down. Take a pause, and you might notice like a little more warmth through your trunk. And now we're going to add in that rolling, the long rolls, to wake up the three-dimensional core. So if you're just arriving, you want space on the side of your mat to roll onto. If you're on hardwood, get your blankets, open it up so that you have more softness. So to get into the long rolls, you can do it with a little movement from the legs. So we're going to take the legs up, and I'm going to lengthen, well, I'm going to roll this way. So I'm going to lengthen my right leg, and then I'm going to move my left leg over, and it's going to roll me over onto the side. You can choose to have hand down for support, and then you're on your side, yeah? And you could choose to have no hand support, and you're balancing. If your hip is feeling bony, again, get your blanket and pad, okay? And then to come back, I'm gonna use my left leg to kind of counterbalance. I'm gonna pull it forward, and then I'm rolling back, and I'm finding my dead bug, okay? And then explore. Lengthen that left leg, move the right leg over, and stretch onto your side. Try to find your balance. You can have a little help from your fingertips if you need to, okay? And then migrate back, find your belly stability, you're back into your dead bug. So dead bug onto the side. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna obviously include a little bit more rolling onto the belly too. But let's do that a few times, just to the side. Coming back. This time, when you go over to, so I'm over to my right side. Okay, so in order not to like fall flat on my face, I have to engage some of my back muscles as I go towards my belly. So I'm gonna move my left leg back to turn on that belly, that booty muscle more. And then you can use a little hand support to brace as well. So you're gonna come down into your belly, and we'll pull the hands towards us and lift up in a comfortable amount, and then push and pull and push. So warming up the back body. And then when you come back, use a little push from your left fingers. Roll, side, body long, balance. And then transition with stability back into your dead bug. And then transition over to the other side. And then lift that right leg back so that your back body is engaged. You can brace a little bit with the right fingers as well. So roll onto your belly, and then lengthen. So reach the arms forward, and then pull and push. Good. And then come back one more time onto your side and onto your back, and hug your knees in. You can be in stillness. You can make little micro movements. It's yogi's choice. So just noticing how all of those transverse movements feels in your nervous system. Okay, we're gonna come up to sitting, so you can choose to rock up, or you can roll over to the side. Great. And then let's come on to just either a kneeling position or a sitting position. I want to warm up the the shoulders a little bit more. Yeah, so I'm just kneeling. You can sit however. We're just shaking it out like this first, just in and out. And then also getting movement into the wrists. We'll be doing this kind of like karate chop, and then some circling and going in the other direction. Good. And then opulent arm circles. So getting some blood flow, circulation into these joints before we start loading them on all fours. Good. And then let's come down into sitting with the feet and the legs in front of us. And again, a little more work on those shoulders. We're going to take the hands behind us and have the fingertips facing away from us. So this is shoulder extension. We don't usually do any work with our hands behind us. And it's usually all this way. And so all the muscles and tissues here can get really tight and shorten. So we're getting a little bit of an opposite stretch here. And then as you're here, you can pull your scapula in towards each other more and pull them down your back, and that's going to lift your chest a little bit more. So we're doing kind of like a little stretch through those pecs. Okay, and then your arms it spins out and it spins in. It spins out. Well, let's do that. We can just lift the hands off of the floor, so open chain, turn it out, turn it in, turn it out, turn it in, okay? And surprisingly, I get a little core work here as well. Okay, and then now we'll do that action with the hands down. So hands down, but try to turn your scapula or your arm bone out and try to turn your arm bone in. Turn out, turn in, turn out, turn in. Good, and then keep it more turned out. And then start to lean back and load a little bit more. So you're just exploring loading weight into your wrists and your arms with, your body, and see how that feels for you. And then reach your left arm and just add a little turn to come over to the right, and then lower down, load on that left side as you reach your right arm. Okay, and so you can stay here and just explore the load through the shoulder, a little reach with the other one. If your shoulder is feeling stable, you can choose to progress and maybe push and lift. Okay, you don't have to, but we're all at different levels, so you want to work at the level that is stable for your shoulder. Yeah. So we're just practicing a little load in extension at a comfortable amount for us. And then this is also a nice stretch through that middle back area. Good. And then once you finish the second side, come back down and take a pause and just feel the chest, the shoulders. Maybe they feel a little bit warmer. We'll swing the legs out and we'll come on to all fours. Use your blocks to grip the blocks instead of being directly on the floor with your hands. Yeah, and if you don't have blocks, you can obviously do the sequence without them as well. it just kind of loads the wrists a little bit differently. We'll do this drill with the knees wide first, and you can stretch yourself back into a child's pose. And then shift forward towards like a plank position and shift back. If you've been doing this for a while, you can progress and lift your knees up and add more loading by coming into plank and into squat dog. Okay. And then eventually we're going to start to pull the knee up towards the same side elbow, and then we're going to step back. And again, this can be done knee down as well. Tap and come back. So build a little more heat, a little more warmth. So keep, as you tap, it'll be easier on your neck if you keep looking at your toes instead of doing this, yeah? Because then you can strain your neck. So keep looking at your toes as you tap. Okay, and then next time when you come forward, let's step that right foot forward, so forward with that right knee. And the foot is between the blocks. And then pick your blocks up into the high setting, stretch both of your legs long. Level your hips with the front edge of the mat. And then bend that front knee and extend that front knee. Bending and extending. You can allow your forward fold to come a little lower with the knee as you extend it. You can allow yourself to look forward more as you bend it. Good. And then shift your weight forward with the knee bent. Move the blocks forward and lift your back leg up. Good. So it's kind of like standing splits here. And then softly bend that standing knee. Lower your back foot down. And then lift your left arm up and rise up into warrior two position. So I'll go this way. Okay, so you're in the warrior two. And then lift up and come back into the pose. Okay, lift up and come back in. And then holding your warrior two, and turn your palms up, turn your palms from your arms, from your shoulder socket, rotating externally, rotating internally, and then holding with your choice, palm up, palm down, or one doing one thing, one doing the other. Good. And then lower that back hand down onto the back leg, and then you can have the front palm up as you side bend back towards the back leg. So your reverse warrior here. Okay. Come on out. And then you can shift, lift your back heel, face your blocks again. And then you can have lower the blocks to the medium setting into your downward dog. Okay, so I'm just gonna come back to this base where my blocks are. Good, so you can choose to be in down dog. You can choose to rest into child's. So come into a rest point for 3 breaths, whatever that is for you. Knees down, knees up. Feel how your breath is, how the heart rate is after that sequence. And then we'll get the blood pumping again through the squat to plank. So you can, again, find your variation, either with the knees down, or the knees up. After about 3 to 5 rounds of doing that, you can progress to tapping knee to same side elbow. And again, keep looking at your toes as you do that tap. And you don't have to touch the knee if, you know, where you're at is just almost there. That's great too. Find your stability without straining your neck. Okay. Next time when you pull the left knee forward, pull it more towards your nose. And then step that foot out between the 2 bricks. Pick your bricks up and elongate both of your legs and levelize your hips with the front edge of your mat. Take a breath here so that you get a nice stretch through your hamstrings, and then bend and extend that front knee. You can choose to look forward more with the knee bending, and you can choose to come deeper into the forward fold with the knee extending. And then next time when we have that knee bent, we're going to transition down into the warrior 2. So you can ground that back heel down if it's up, and then you can lift up into your warrior 2. Cool. And adjust your stance. You know, sometimes we want the feet, like sometimes you might be more narrow with the feet. If you don't feel stable, you can widen it. So front knee is bending, and then we'll come in and out through this direction. So lifting up with the arms and extending the front knee, and then coming back to the pose, being mindful of how your kneecap is tracking with your toes to keep your joints happy. So congruency with knee direction and toe direction. And then we get to hang out in the pose. And I'm noticing as I did that, I got warmer, so I was able to lengthen my stride a little bit more. And then we'll find the rotation here from the shoulders again. Turning externally, turning internally. External, internal. Good. And then we'll do that reverse warrior where we land the backhand down, front palm is up, and then you can deepen that knee bend as you lean back. And you get a nice opening through those side ribs, and see if you can breathe into the side of your ribs here. Okay, and then we'll come out. We want to turn, so right now the pelvis is facing the long edge of the mat. So we want to turn so it's facing the short edge. And we do that by picking up the back heel and spinning and hopefully not falling forward. And then grab a hold of your blocks. And then this time we're going to step forward. So step forward with hold here, and you could do little movements with your neck. As you're here, there's a lot of energy in the foot. It's not just dead and collapsed. So can you get a sense that your inner arch is lifting, you're pushing down through the base of your big toe, little toe, and when you do that, you can feel your glutes turning on. So deepen that stretch by even pulling the sit bones up. And then when you're ready, knees can be a little soft, and we're going to lift the arms, and we'll rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart in Tadasana. Cool. You can move the blocks out of the way so that you don't kick them. We're going to do contralateral sequence next. So it's good for the balancing. If you want a little steadiness, you could have some furniture on one side, on the side of the leg that you're going to be balancing on. So option to hold on to a little support. And then you might have noticed that I have a staff. So that can be a really great support as well, your broom, something like that. Okay, so we're going to start with just a gentle contralateral work here first in the more usual way. So we're just lifting left leg, right arm, and then switching. Good, and you can, modify for your body, so maybe you're lifting the heel up. So work at a comfortable pace as well as height, and watch your brain. Make sure your brain doesn't trick you. Sometimes what will happen is that we'll start to switch and we'll start to lift the same side. So catch that if that happens. Okay, nice. Good. And then land. Take a pause, take a breath, feel your heart's pace, your breath's pace. Now we're going to add in the contralateral pattern with bigger movements with the legs. So you decide the distance of the step for your body, okay? So we're shifting the weight into the right leg, and we're going to explore softening, so bending that knee a little bit, and we're going to step the left foot forward. You're going to land the ball of the foot first, and then the heel, and then you're going to swing opposite limbs. So right now your left leg is forward, so you would take the right arm forward as well. Okay, shift back and hover, and now step that leg behind you, land softly, ball of the foot, heel, and then switch the arm. So now opposite, yeah, and then again, you can lift, and then softly step, and switch the arms, and then come back. So you can even skip the hovering, or you can add in, so when it's up high like this, when you come down, you want to soften that standing knee, land softly, ball of the foot, heel. And so to regress this and have more stability, you can hold on to your chair. Yeah, so let's see. I grab my chair. It would be landing, and I guess if you add in the arms, there's a little, at the end, you can, once you land, you can release like that. Okay. Good. And then we're going to add in more directions of movement. So now you're back to that hover, and now instead of going forward, we're going to go out to the side. So soft with that standing knee, step your foot to the side, ball of the foot, heel, squat, and then shift weight and reach this other side, yeah? And then squat low, come back, and then curtsy squat, so cross the leg to the other side, and now swing the other arm forward. So coming back, coming out, shifting, you can come back, shift. So you can use a little bit of a hover in between. Or you can also just go direct. Sometimes that transition point in the center can be hard. So stable with, soft with that knee. Nice. And the next time when you land out into the squat, go ahead and come down into the squat and air squats 5 times. Weight is in your heel, hips back, knees bend. Good. And then you choose. If you're feeling stable, you could shift like this, come back to center, or you can just walk back. Okay. Take a pause, feel, notice the legs, and then we're going to switch. So if you want to, you can have your chair, a little support. We can hover first with the right leg flexed, and then when we step forward, we can soften the standing knee. So if we're rigid like this, it might be a little bit jarring on the joints. So you can have a little softness, land softly, and then reach, come back, reach, and then catch it. So I just, there we go. So you can always come back to this hovering to kind of find your place, or you can just transition all the way out. Yeah. And the chair is helpful because it's in those transitions that we might feel a little unsteady. So we get a little support from our chair. Yeah, so you're moving hip flexion, hip extension, contralateral. If you're feeling more stable, you can also choose to like vary the stance. You can make it longer, make it shorter, make it out to the side. Okay, and then we are going to switch. Instead of going forward and back, we're going to go out to the side and over. So a little bit of a squat here, step out, come down, and then reach the arm this way, shift back, hover, cross over, opposite arm. So wherever you are, when you land, just check whatever the front leg is and switch them. So that is the opposite arm and leg. Nice. So balancing is not just a physical thing. It's really about fine-tuning the connection of the brain to the body as well, and improving the communication between the left and the right hemispheres. So these contralateral movements are really beneficial for that coordination between the left and the right side of your brain. And then next time when you come into the squat, let's do 5 rounds of the air squats so that we're working the legs in symmetry here. then when you're done with the 5, this was our base leg, so you can choose to lift and come back. Take a pause, and you can place a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, and just feel your heart's pace, feel your breath's pace. And connect with your intention again. See if you can distill it into that feeling essence, and notice if it is present within you right now. Take another breath here in Tadasana. And then we'll lift up and we'll fold down. You can step your feet back into downward dog. And then we'll slowly lower the knees down. And we're making our way onto the back. We're going to do stretch through the sides of the knee before we rest. So when you're ready, you can hug your knees back, or one knee in, right knee. Hold on to it, and then extend that leg up and bend that knee. So just 3 times here in neutral with the thigh. And then next time when your leg is up, turn your leg externally from your hip. Keep that external rotation. You can drop the left knee away so it doesn't, the right heel doesn't hit it. And then bend and extend with your thigh turned out. So you're stretching through the hamstring, but also on the sides of the knee. And then next time when the leg is up, turn it back to center, and then turn it internally. And then again, bend and extend with internal rotation. Good. And then when the leg is up again, turn it back to neutral and turn it back out. And then cross the ankle onto the other thigh. And lengthen this knee away from you. Take your right thumb and roll the thigh muscles externally there in that hip crease, and then drop your figure 4 over to the left side and take a few breaths here into the right side of your torso. Good. Come on back and cross and step this foot down. Take a pause, compare. And then let's do the second side. So hug your left thigh in. Bend and extend this knee in neutral with the thigh in neutral in the hip socket. And then next time when the thigh is up, let's do the internal first this side. So turn your leg bone towards the center of your body. Your toes are going to point in, and you want to keep the internal rotation as you bend and extend. It shifts the stretch behind your legs and around your knees. Good. And the next time when the leg is up, turn it back to center so the toes are facing, straight towards your head. And then from your hip socket, turn your leg out so the toes will point out. And then bend and extend, and you might have to move the other knee out of the way. So sometimes we kind of get caught with turning from the ankle. It's really the external rotation in the hip socket. So don't worry about torquing your ankle or anything. Okay. Good. And then cross, next time when you lower, cross the ankle onto the other thigh, figure 4. Take your left thumb, hook it to the hip crease, roll the flesh out, and drop your figure 4 over to your right side. Maybe the foot goes to the floor, maybe it has to go on a block, maybe it has to go on the inner thigh. Okay, and then take a gaze over to the left. Mobilize your left rib cage more with your inhale and your exhale. And stretch your lung more. Try to get more breath into the back of your lung on this left side. Okay, next time when you inhale, you can pull the figure 4 back onto your back. Uncross. And yogi's choice. Go ahead, and if you feel like you want to do any last minute stretches, you're welcome to do that before you rest. And whenever you're ready, you can either go into the traditional corpse position or some variation that is supportive for you. And once you have picked a spot, just notice your back body on the floor. Notice your sacrum and your natural breath. Can you get a sense of your natural breath moving towards the sacrum here? And stay with that connection to your spine and your breath. Feel the ebb and flow of your breath going down the spine and up the spine. Allow your breath to be longer and smoother. Soften in the eyes, the jaw, and the throat. Relax the belly, relax the low back, and the hips. to your intention. And again, distill your intention to the feeling sense of it. What does joy or gratitude or peace feel like? And once you have identified that felt sense, allow yourself to receive that more and more. You can stay here if you would like to rest for a little bit longer, or if you're ready to transition, you can invite little movements back to your body. And then once you're in a comfortable seat, take another baseline of your whole system. So what does the whole body feel like after practice? What does the breath feel like? What does the mind feel like? And the emotional space. And notice yourself as the spaciousness that contains everything. Your body arises in this spaciousness. Your thoughts arise in this spaciousness. And even your senses, sight, smell, they arise in the spaciousness of awareness. So resting into awareness, presence, for this too is an aspect of who you are. And we'll join the hands together at the heart. You can take a full breath to heart center, and we'll bow our heads to our hearts. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.